Let's review our Sunday school lesson together on today. We are in the winter quarter for December, January, and February of 2022 and 2023, entitled Chosen Not Choice. And we're looking at God's calling for all of us that is rooted in grace and not humans deserving it. We're in unit number 2 for the month of January, entitled God's Promises. And we're looking at 5 lessons from the Old Testament that help us to learn to trust God, that He will keep His promises through life's various situations. Our lesson for today is lesson number 8 for January 2023, January 22nd, entitled Living Right Over Empty Rituals. Our printed passage is Isaiah 58, verse 6 through 10. As we review our lesson for today and we think about the promises of God, one of the promises of God is found in James chapter 4, verse number 8. There it tells us that if we draw near to God, then He will draw near to us. What a great, great, great promise that is. And as a truth, what an amazing truth that is to all of us, that if we draw near to God, He will draw near to us. Well, how is that seen that we are drawn nearer to God? Well, it is seen in our living. Now, at this time, Israel was fasting in a physical way. They were abstaining from food and drink, and in a physical way, they were fasting. But in their behavior, they were far from God. In fact, the text today tells us that wickedness was all around them, that many of them were bound, many of them were neglecting each other, and even there was malicious talk among them. And so it was difficult for them to do something so spiritual like fasting, and yet they were living so evil, breaking the very commandments of God. So this is what we hear the Lord say. Is that the type of fast that I've called for? Or rather, is this the type of fast that I've called for? That even as you fast doing something spiritual, your lifestyle reflects how you are living. Amen. It reflects how you're living, reflects your relationship with me. It reflects everything that I've called for you to do. So rather, this is the fast I've called for you, the type of fast I've called for you to loose and to relieve and to set free and to break loose those who may be bound. Those who are hungry, that you would feed them. Those who are poor, that you would house them. And those who are naked, you would cover them. This is what the Lord calls for, not some ritual that we do out of routine, but a righteous behavior that is reflected in everything that we do. That's what God calls for. And when we do that, we draw near to God. Therefore, when we do something spiritual like fasting, spiritually we are drawn closer to God in our relationship. That's why the prophet would go on to say that once this happens and we draw close to God, then we'll come out of that darkness. We'll spring forth and the glory of God will be seen on us. We'll pray and He'll answer. And we'll cry out and He'll say, "Here I am." And we will have that close relationship with God. God desires to be close with us. Amen. Because He's chosen us as His own. And when we live holy, we are drawn closer to a holy God.